What's up, everybody? Down South Don, back at you with another video. So today, this video basically about the Screaming Eagle Big Sucker, which I purchased about maybe a month and a half ago, and I guess it's be more of a 1,000-mile review. And just wanted to let you guys, get a good look at it in case you decided you might want to get one. I thought it was a great purchase. Definitely don't regret it. Definitely appreciate it a lot more than the S&S oval style that I had, which was probably, if not more, than the price of this. So yeah, without further ado, gotta put my cap on here. Hopefully you guys can see this. All right. And I'm about to, go ahead and wash it up real quick and finish taking this thing apart. So really can't see my angle, but I hope you guys can see what's going on here. So of course this comes red, just like the K&N filter, and it got pretty damn dirty after a good 1,000 miles. It does come with a rain sock so that you can cover it up and you just don't suck up a ton of rain during your travels, and which I'm sure comes in handy. Now the S&S that I had before used to leak oil. Of course, when you overfill the Milwaukee 8 motor, then you end up having a little overspill, and it shoots the oil out of the bottom of the filter and then back on your saddlebags and whatnot. So now it's definitely time to get this thing a good cleaning. But as far as I'm concerned, this is probably one of the best upgrades that I made, and this is the exact same one that comes on the CVO. And of course, the CVO has a bunch of Screaming Eagle parts on it. So technically, don't want to lose that gasket. And see, I don't really see a lot of oil in this one, but I do see a little smidget right in here. But other than that, it's fairly clean. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and freshen this thing up. I see it's still red on the inside, which is, I guess, understandable considering it's sucking most of the air from the outside here, and that's where all the dirt is coming from here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and wash that up real quick. And it is a heavily, I guess, powder coated situation, or plastic. I can't tell what the hell it is, but it's pretty damn durable. I think it's cast iron of some sort, but it's pretty damn heavy for an air cleaner. But as long as it does its job, that's all I care about. So just a second. All right, so here I am with the Pro Charger kit, K&N. Of course, it doesn't have to be a K&N filter. It basically works on any paper or gauze, whatever filter. And you really can't use a ton of this stuff when you're recoating it back into that red filter spray. And this is actually the air filter oil, and this is the power cleaner. So you basically douse this thing pretty good. Make sure it loosens up all of the dirt. All the road grime and stuff that you pick up along the way. They really need to perfect these bottles though. I hate the way they leak. And all you have to do is just rinse this stuff out. get it nice and coated. And you may want to just take the time to take a towel and wipe it out on the inside to get some, you know, the little oil residue and whatnot out of there. But anyway, so really no need for it to sit at any time. Go ahead and rinse it out. And this stuff usually works pretty damn good. Degreasing that filter. And normally on my vehicle, when I use K&N filters, I've sprayed from the inside out. But in this case, since I really can't see inside of the filter or the housing, and it's the way I prefer to do it. And this is my first time cleaning this one. So, live and learn. But like I said, it's not too hard. 3 bolts. And you're pretty much done. Now you will have to sit this thing to let it dry for a little bit. Otherwise, you stick this back on your motorcycle and you turn it on, and all of a sudden you gotta inhale a ton of water on your motorcycle, and pretty sure that would suck. So we're gonna let this sit and dry for a minute, and we're gonna re-oil it and go from there. So be right back. Alright, so I'm back. We'll let this dry for a little bit. And it's not going to completely dry because it's kind of cold today, so it's not to where I can just let the sun beam on it and dry it out like I normally would. Leave it sitting outside for 30 minutes in the sun on average. But today, yeah, we're going to force dry, and I won't be starting up my motorcycle today, not until I get up to go to work in the morning, so it will have plenty of time to sit and dry. So this is a good time to go through and clean up your intake, and I do see just a tad bit of oil in there, but not like it used to be. So we're gonna wipe that out, make sure that intake is good and clean, and clean the outside surface. Now, as I reinstall, we're going to get back to the review in progress. So, as far as me noticing a power difference, I definitely notice a lot more air noises from the intake, like like it says, a big sucking sound. And it definitely takes in more air, which I can feel the faster throttle response, which is kind of what, you know, you should be looking for anyway. Let's see, we match this back to that. And having that, oh, you know what? I almost forgot the most important part, the spray. Alright. And you don't want to use a ton of this stuff on here. And just kind of give it some brief once overs. And then kind of clean up whatever mess that you make in the process. Because it doesn't have to be saturated. Just enough to capture small dirt. Now, I do say it's best to go diagonal or horizontal, I'm sorry. And just go crossways along with the louvers on the filter, because that way you can actually get the coating in between the filter. Unfortunately, these things don't stay red for too long. But the good thing about that, you can always tell when it's time to clean it, because it will get nice and dingy on you. Alright, I think that's enough. Yeah, this is definitely gonna have to sit overnight, because that's quite a bit of stuff in there. And you really don't want to have a ton of this stuff gunked up in your intake. So we're gonna wipe as much as we can off. And this stuff does leave a little sticky residue if you don't clean it off properly. Alright. Let's stick this back on here, and end it's gonna leak a little bit due to it still, you know, drying off. So you gotta expect a little bit of water to still be drying and dripping off from it. So put this screw back in here, and of course make sure you have your gasket to match these little port things here, or little indentions. Line it up. That way you don't really have a lot of air leaks in between your filter and your gasket. Okay. And I seem to be having a problem getting this thing lined up. There we go. So back to my review. Now, like I said, I do notice a torque difference. It definitely responds a hell of a lot faster than what it did with the stock one on. Oh yeah, look like I'm gonna have this stuff all over my pipes. That's not gonna be good. And so considering whatever upgrades that you may choose to endure over time, this will definitely keep up with the demand of the inlet air, just because it's more than enough air coming in. And if you decide to go with a bigger air intake or any motor upgrades, this is normally where you should probably start from, is the air intake. And of course, doing like a stage 1 kit, then yeah, you'll definitely be looking at the air intake first, then your exhaust, which I'm gonna get to in a little bit. And you do the air intake, you do the exhaust, and your tuner. And also, well, I did my spark plug wires as well, which I went with the 10mm Screaming Eagle, and that made a pretty big difference in throttle response. Of course, Screaming Eagle spark plugs, so you definitely want a hotter spark plug, and it burns fuel a hell of a lot more efficiently. I've seen it get better gas mileage, even though I have done some modifications to my bike. So moving on, let's put this last screw in. and I'm just lightly tightening each one. Go back and tighten each one individually. Yeah, that thing is definitely still dripping. Alright. And you definitely want to make sure you have this tight enough, because it would suck if you lost this. Now, I didn't do any Loctite on this because it actually locks on pretty tight itself. I haven't had any screws come loose, and I did check them after the initial installation. So if you want to put Loctite on yours, feel free, but considering how often that you probably end up having to take this thing off, I probably wouldn't do that. Yeah, nice little tighten. And you don't want to go too hard, because of course you end up probably stripping these bolts, and that would suck. Get in there. And that probably does it for me. And this thing, you don't really, you can loosen it and move it as you see fit. Of course, there's a bolt right here that you can tighten up and loosen. You can pull this off, but you know, based on my mechanic, he was saying just do these 3 screws instead. Makes it a lot easier, because there's a band that you have to put in here, and that band normally comes loose, and you have to find a way to pull it back over the little ridge that's inside of here. Once you finally pull this off, you have to find a way to snap it back on. So it makes it a little bit more complicated. But anyway, so I did make this to a S&S competition pipe, which is a 2-in-1. And here, I'll take my hat off, and I'll give you guys a review on this a little later. But yeah, that's a pretty sick sounding pipe. I got rid of the D&D pipe. For one, it was chrome, and I'm really not the biggest fan of chrome, but I don't mind some chrome. And the other reason was it had a loud tingy, like a ringy sound. This S&S has a deeper, like a deep bellowy tone. It also has the same back growl, which most people appreciate from the D&D. Oh, the one, you know, I think the sound that most people come to appreciate was that snarl in between gear shifts, and this has the same as well as the sound of a jake brake that truckers have when they hit the jake brake, and you hear the, you know, trucker going, I guess like when he's slowing down, he's just riding the gear, and they're so it has that as well, like a deep bellow as well. And I like it, but I like the way this is actually mellow at startup and lower RPMs, and once you get on it, then it really sings. And I'll be doing the review for that coming up shortly. But for now, just wanted to give you guys a quick review on the Big Sucker, Screaming Eagle Big Sucker. And I believe they run about, no, quote me if I'm wrong. Matter of fact, I won't even quote a price. Check your local Harley-Davidson dealership. If they have them in stock, it does come in chrome as well as black. Oh, and by the way, here's that rain sock I was talking about. And I notice a lot of people leave them on. I wouldn't, because you'll probably end up losing this thing, you know, during a maybe high wind. But it does look fairly decent. And they do have the I guess the kit that you can put on here, where you can put whatever logo or whatever size engine that you have. It comes, I guess, Screaming Eagle, and then you add whatever, 117, 114, 107, whatever you want to add. Yeah, let you see what this looks like on here. But I don't think it'll go anywhere, but yeah, that's what you do when heavy rains. And if you lose it, I guess you're probably gonna just suck up a lot of water. But nothing that the bike probably can't handle. Anyway, that's gonna be the end of this video. Appreciate you guys for checking it out. Be sure to like and subscribe, and once again, make sure you log on to downsouthdawn.com and check out my merchandise. And for the I'll be doing a giveaway soon. I'm not gonna say what just yet, but I have a few things that I will be revealing within the next few videos. So once again, be sure you support your boy. Don't forget the Factory 47 handlebars. I'll be doing a sale on those pretty soon. And Tab Performance. I also sell Tab Performance exhaust, which just sound great. Red Shift cams, Vision X tuner, and a few other things. So I just been busy with living in 2 different worlds. I'm also a Jeeper, so some of you people that know, I do a lot of off-roading, and I try and split my time between the 2. So that's the world I live in. Anyway, make sure you spend your money wisely, so you can only buy once. So they say buy once, cry once. Whatever this thing may cost, it was worth it for me, and I hope it'll be worth it for you. Down South Dawn, I'm out.